We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Happy Friday.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today is Jill Friday, and she talks about how Jack reeled her in on a few land deals. I can't wait to hear what this topic is about because I honestly don't know. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free, and don't forget to subscribe on the Land Academy YouTube channel and comment on the shows you like.
Let me pause for just a second here about this topic today. It will come back to you because you got frustrated and you were correct, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what goes on. Okay, back to the question. Chip wrote, does anyone have any tools or applications to decipher old deeds and retrieve the legal descriptions? I'm looking for actual meets and bounds legal, not the abstract. I'm using the deed check / subdivide 21 software application to map large properties and subdivide them, but finding legible legal descriptions for many of these properties has been challenging. Thanks in advance for any suggestions.
This is a very intelligent question, a very advanced question. I'll try to put it in terms that everybody can describe. When you do a deed, or when a title agent does a deed, there's what's called the legal description or the deed legal description. And then elsewhere in our title abstract, this is especially for agricultural property and larger properties, there's a meets and bounds description that's a lot longer and a lot more complicated. And it's used for subdividing and a lot of other things. So the vast majority of us aren't going to need to know this. But I've included this question in this episode because I want you to know that there are two. Mm-hmm. And Jill's famous for saying, and she's right, when you go to do a deed, copy the vesting deed, the deed right before it in the chain of title, verbatim, even if there's errors. That's what you need to know. And so Chip's going to do some subdividing here, and I'm going to follow up with him eventually and see how this went because it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's an easy example. So what are you guys talking about? Well, you know what? A legal description might say Anderson Acres, Block 3, Lot 2. Well, that's great. How am I going to find that? I can't just Google Anderson Acres kind of thing and find it. So there's a real description somewhere else that tells you. Mm-hmm. And it might be section, town, township range, and then the Northwest, 10 of the Southeast, whatever. You have to read it all. There's that kind of descriptions. These are meets and bounds. And then also there's other, what they are, they're real ways for you to actually stand somewhere and find the property.
That's correct.
You can go somewhere. For example, we just came back on a vacation. If you saw us on my Facebook stuff, on Land Academy Facebook, you saw we were standing at Four Corners, right? Where Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah meet. There's actually a spot. People don't realize there's a marker on the ground. So when you're in these sections of property, there's a place to go. There is baseline, meridian. You can really, this is back to YouTube if you really want to get into it. This stuff's not arbitrary. There are places that you can really go and stand and be there. And like in Arizona, there's a place down on baseline where you can find where it starts, The
entire country is organized from a land perspective on a baseline and meridian concept. And it's 36 square miles of property that gets, and then from there, as it gets subdivided and released down, it gets down to a section, which is 1 square mile. Again, Jill's right. If you're really into this, go check it out on YouTube. There's all kinds of videos. I talk about it in the first program a lot because it's something you kind of need to know about.
Mm-hmm. But I think what Chip's doing is taking okay, well, I've got this description. I need this description. What are you guys using to, I'm sure there were a lot of good comments and tools and things in there helping him to get it done faster.
There's relational databases now based on APN. Mm-hmm. That's what NeighborScoop is. I developed NeighborScoop. We didn't have that before. The only way we could find property is what Jill's talking about, which is why I know way more than I ever wanted to know about this, because long ago, this was the only way you could find property.
It's amazing that we have, because really Neighbor Scoop takes it's pulling the information where when it was translated into now degrees and GPS coordinates and using that. And that's how we can take it from Neighbor Scoop and overlay it into Google Earth Pro and all kinds of things.
So I was talking about capital yesterday. This is a great example. Neighbor Scoop is an amazing source of capital for you because you can find any property. I mean, 99% of the properties that do not have a mailing address on Neighbor Scoop in seconds, which that used to take me some cases days.
Oh, yeah. I would give it a couple hours. There were times that when like I was first starting, we didn't have the stuff, right? So I would try a couple hours and do my best. And I would often do okay. I could at least get in there close enough. You know, I could see the roads, figure out where it was. But there were some times and I'm like, all right, I can't find it now. I'm not going to spend 4 more hours on this. I'd come to you and find it. So.
And then we'd fail together.
Yes. Exactly. Again, this is why you're here. We're going to fail for you. We're going to fail faster than you could on your own.
2 years before you ever heard of Land Academy, we were failing.
Yes. Exactly.
Actually, 20 years.
Land Academy, one big failure, so you don't have to.
That's a great tagline.
All right. So today's topic is mine. It's Jill Friday. And this is about what happened last week, where I said, all right, I got it. You were reeling me back in on a few land deals. And let me paint the picture. Here's what's going on. So beautiful staff, beautiful systems that usually work well. But now and then you get derailed. And I got derailed. And Jack had to reel me back in. And it was pretty much like, what the heck are you doing? And why are you doing that? So here's a couple of examples of what just happened. And here's why. First, let me explain the why. I hate.
You're getting jaded, Jill.
I do. No. This is good. No, you're gonna appreciate this.
Never heard you say the hate.
I will. I hate letting a deal fail when there's something that I could do to save it. So that's what started all this. So, and it's impossible. I know, this is how you reeled me back in. It's impossible for me to do every deal that comes across my desk. Personally, is what I'm saying. And so if something goes a little sideways, I hate it. And so I find myself getting involved. So an example is this. We had a really big mailer hit all at once. My staff is overwhelmed. And I'm watching calls aren't getting returned fast enough and things aren't going open, escrow's not open fast enough. So what do I want to do? I take it personally. I find myself jumping in there and helping them instead of maybe giving them more tools, hiring another person. You know, there's other things we can do. And then sometimes even just sitting back and going, we did the best we could. No, I don't do that. And you have to reel me back in. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're right. You're right. And my other thing is that I fall into a trap of this where I feel like I could have done that deal better. I could, if it was me on the phone, I could have got that price, not this price. And I find myself, you know, I even have to pull myself back in. Usually, it's, you know, you pointed out, you usually spot it before I do. And I'm like, let it go. I don't let things go enough.
Boy, that's true.
Uh-huh. What do you want to add?
Here's a bigger picture concept. You need to, at a certain point in your career, and this is more showing up for life than anything, not just land career, but in any career, if you're moving forward and moving up, I don't care if it's in a W-2 job, you're going to replace yourself multiple times. You're going to hire people to do the job that you've been doing. For me, it's because I don't want to do it. Like I enjoy doing mailers, so I do them.
Right.
I don't enjoy the sales piece. Jill does it. I replaced myself. I used to do sales, but Jill replaced that part of the entire business, and it worked out better to structure it as a partnership than an employee-employer situation. So you have to, when this happens, look yourself straight in the mirror and say, I know this person, chances are, they're not going to do it as well as I am.
Correct.
You know, in our case, that's why we're partners and not, you know, because she is better at it than I am, than I ever was or ever hope to be. So you can't, if your first reaction when stuff starts to go sideways is to put your gloves on, roll your sleeves up, and get in there and do it. That's not the right thing to do. You need to draw on your capital, whatever sources there are, and put a system in place to get that stuff done. So you're not only just solving that one, because if you get involved, you're solving that problem.
Right.
If you get involved to put a system in place to solve all the problems,
That's the way to do it.
that's what you want.
And know that they're not going to do it as good as you. It's not going to go as good as you, but if you don't do it, you're never going to grow. I watch a lot of new people doing this.
Me too.
I see two things. I've seen both extremes now. It's kind of funny. I've seen people that they want to start a system from day one, so they never have to learn that stuff. I'm like,
That's not good.
Right. You need to know a little bit about this, but I like where you're going with it. I love that better than the other extreme, which is I'm going to be a one-man show forever. And you'll burn out. I don't want you to burn out. I want you to enjoy this and do bigger and better deals and build a great team.
I mean, if you want to do one deal a month, make $100,000 on every deal,
Maybe.
you can be you and one assistant, one like full-time personal assistant, whether they're virtual or not, could pull that off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And again, you brought in some help. Even if you're a one-man show, because we have a lot of people doing this one. I love this. They're a one-man show. They do everything but sell property. They give it all to agents and brokers. I think it's
I
brilliant.
love that too.
There's nothing wrong with any of that. There's a lot of ways you can slice this up. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Need to send out a few thousand offers to property owners like us? Check out offers2owners.com. So that's offers2owners.com. No setup fees, free mail merge, exceptional service, and now including just released for everyone, concierge data and pricing. It's awesome. Give Offers to Owners a call today. Was that what you thought? Did it now make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
Okay, good.
I feel bad when it happens because I'm seeing it happen. It doesn't happen that often. You know what really only, now that you presented it this way, it really happens when we send too much mail out.
That's what happened. That's when
Yeah,
that
all
one
at once.
actually that kind of did. We thought we were staffed up for it. We weren't. Because we got so much back in a good way. This was a really good mailer. So that was, maybe we didn't do anything wrong. It just was a really good mailer. And it was like, wow. And the other thing that happened too, we were traveling together and we were in close quarters.
We're in an RV
You wouldn't have
together.
known. If I was in my office over there, you wouldn't have known
That's right.
what was going on. Yeah,
Boy, that's true.
And you wouldn't have seen me frustrated, or you wouldn't have heard me talking, any of that. All of that would have been better too. So we had what can you do? Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable. And again, we appreciate your support. If you haven't already, don't forget, check out our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. We're Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.